God, my fucking lighting better be better this time. Last video was utter dog shit. Okay. Hey guys, AJ here. Welcome back to the yard. Influencer boxing. Let's talk about it. In my previous video, I discussed influencer boxing. In my opinion, it is beyond significant for YouTube. It really is a big topic. Let's go back all the way to the beginning when all of this had just started. Everything started with KSI and Joe Weller back in February of 2018. I personally didn't watch that match. I didn't know anyone from the UK quite yet. But yeah, KSI, JJ, called Logan out after that fight. Who the fuck is texting me? But yeah, this call was interesting for many reasons. I liked what Andrew Tate said about influencer boxing. I'll cover a video about him later, but specifically what he said, if two people had beef, they go and settle it in the ring instead of, battling it over the internet. But why this is interesting is KSI and Logan were not boxers in any way at that time. This was before their first match. They were athletic, at least Logan was. KSI said he was not, and he needed to work harder than most people. But I remember that first fight, driving back from practice and remembering that the result was a draw of the match, and I really didn't know how I felt about it. Fast forward to the second match, I actually fell asleep during that one because it was so late at night. I was definitely rooting for Logan, not really because I hated JJ, but just because I'd known Logan earlier and just knew him better. But during that second fight, I think all the circumstances were just against Logan that night. First, he was sick. By the way, I love the sneeze 3 times memes that came out after that fight. But then the bigger thing was the 2-point deduction, the controversial 2-point deduction, which by the way, does not happen in boxing at all. Before this fight, the last time a 2-point deduction had happened was in 1997 when Mike Tyson literally bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. I was pretty bummed that this happened and then caused Logan to lose, but that's not to say that JJ didn't deserve it. Honestly, it's whatever because Logan's good at bouncing back, which is why I love him so much. Because literally 4 years later, he fought Floyd fucking Mayweather. Logan went the distance and actually did damage to Floyd. And I don't care that people thought he was way bigger and had all the advantages and Floyd was old. I still don't care. It was awesome to see Logan beat up Floyd. Influencer boxing at that point was skyrocketing. There were fights like Jake versus Gibb, Jake versus Nate Robinson, Jake versus Ben Askren, Jake versus Tyron Woodley 1, Jake versus Tyron Woodley 2. You see how I'm fucking saying Jake in every single fucking fight? Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of other good influencer boxers out there, like JJ, Logan, Salt Pappy recently, and Slim, but none have nearly improved as much and been as active as Jake had. I feel like True Jordy right now complimenting Jake as if he's my best friend. But that's honestly just how it is. It doesn't really matter whether you like him or not. It is a fact that he's been the most influential in paving the way for influencer boxing. I feel like everyone started seeing how successful Jake was in the boxing scene and then wanted in on it too. But there's an important thing to understand with influencer boxing. On Impulsive, Mike and Logan said it best. There's going to be entertainment fights and then there's going to be very serious ones. Recently, Floyd versus Deji, that was an entertainment fight. It was not competitive at all. Everyone sort of knew, but memed that Deji would win, but everyone knew that Floyd would demolish him and get him out of there and play with him as he did. Mike literally said Floyd was doing his fucking taxes in the corner between rounds, which was fucking hilarious. But yeah, we knew that was not going to be competitive at all. Now you take a fight like recently Jake versus Anderson Silva, that was really competitive. I really don't think that it was rigged in any way like some people do, as most Jake haters do. I get that Silva's old, but he looked snappy out there and Jake had to keep his defense up in order to stay in that rank. Jake somehow remained calm and somehow managed to outbox Anderson Silva, which is insane. He even managed to get a knockdown in there. By entertainment fight, I mean ones that are not so serious. Again, that was a serious bout. Shifting gears now, we all know the biggest fight in influencer boxing and it hasn't happened yet. Jake versus JJ, plain and simple. That fight, it'll happen hopefully in 2023. It doesn't really matter if either side is scared of the other because the hype's been built up and it has to happen eventually to give people what they want. Who do I think is gonna win? Well, let's look at it. JJ recently fought Swarms, bullied the fuck out of him. Then the same night he fought a skinny, tall Mexican kid and bullied the fuck out of him as well. We weren't able to really see what JJ was capable of because he didn't have any pressure on him and he was just on the attack the whole time, pretty much trying to get them out of there. Cutting to the point, I think that Jake will win, and here's why. JJ hasn't focused solely on boxing. He's had more than boxing. He focused on his music career, which has really taken off, That is something to be proud of, but at the same time, it takes away his time from being able to box and practice. All Jake has been doing these last 3-4 years is box and actively box, fighting multiple times a year. It doesn't really matter what I or the audience thinks of JJ or Jake. It honestly just comes down to whoever worked harder and for longer. And in my opinion, Jake has worked for a lot longer than JJ in terms of time spent boxing. I honestly don't care who wins though, because aren't we just all here for the entertainment? This is my ultimate point. YouTubers have found a niche in the market called influencer boxing that is up and keeping the YouTube community entertained to the max. People start arguing about who is better than who, and they all watch fights together and say I told you so, or this was not how it's supposed to be. But during all this, people are coming together in unity to watch influencer boxing. It honestly is one of the best things that has happened to YouTube. It inspires kids and young adults like me to, someday try boxing and stay healthy and fit. Watching influencer boxing on YouTube has made me want to learn more about boxing. I'm not nearly knowledgeable enough to analyze fights yet, but I do want to get to that point. Thought I would get an influencer boxing video out really quick before Thanksgiving and before we all go home for the holidays, especially with all the recent fights that have been happening and all the drama. I would love to see in the future JJ versus Tyron Woodley, because then I feel like I would have actually something to compare Jake and JJ with, as they both would have fought Tyron Woodley then. But it'll have to wait. Guys, fellas, lads, hit that red box down below. I think it says subscribe. If you don't hit the like button, I will steal grandpa's meds. And so yeah, please go do that. I will see you all in a little bit after Thanksgiving. So take it easy, fam. Peace.